Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, Game 2. God, I almost forgot what the teams are. Heat and Lakers. It is Friday, which is exciting. October 2nd. I am Josh Engleman. I am joined by a recent $100,000 winner. The boy below me took it down on Wednesday, rather. You guys know him as Rayen Patnaik. Ryan, congratulations on the big win Wednesday.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Obviously a very wonky game, but one of the game strips I drew up ended up happening there. Me and 4 other people ended up tying for that first place on FanDuel, but thank you so much. Yeah. Excited to talk game 2.
It's exciting. Yeah, we got to get the goods here. Ryan had Kendrick Nunn and took it to pay dirt. Who is going to be the Kendrick Nunn for today? What weird Heat guy? You going to ride Chris Silva to another 100K?
He's the buzz Heat player of the last 30 minutes, just because one beat reporter said he's aggressively warming up, and he's coming off a left pubic bone injury or stress fracture, so he hasn't played in a long time, and he's going to go up against AD and Dwight. Like, good luck with that.
But he's definitely to get a stress factor in my pubic bone for 20 years, man. Still can't get one.
Yeah, he pulled it off in the bubble, so credit to him.
I've got an infinite amount of jokes for this, but we don't have time for it. I do have time to shout out No House Advantage for being the presenting sponsor of this show. We will touch on some props as we go along, but sign up at No House Advantage. Use the promo code Awesemo. Get yourself a $20 free play on your first deposit. Get yourself a $5 bonus if you refer a friend and they make a deposit. It's that easy. We'll talk about it as we go. I think we need to start with the biggest question of the slate, which we will likely get an answer to, I don't know, probably in like the next 10 minutes. Who will be the starting center for the Miami Heat today? Is it Kelly Olynyk? Is it Myers Leonard? Is it Chris Silva? Or some sort of mystery fourth guy where they go small?
My guess is as good as yours. I've been looking into a lot of Twitter, any like newspaper like of the Miami Sentinel, seeing what their insight is. My initial guess of going back and forth with Kelly Olynyk and Myers Leonard all day. I guess I'll find out my answer very shortly. But I finally decided my best informed decision at this point is Myers Leonard will get the start in that first rotation. And then I do expect Kelly Olynyk to see the floor in the first half, which he did not see last time out.
Other than confirming Myers Leonard's minutes by starting, do you think his minutes are wildly different whether or not he starts? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I would definitely be, obviously my interest in him to a certain extent will obviously increase depending on how, like, he's obviously is very, very favorable price tag, but I do think we might just see him playing the first rotation in the first half, first quarter and the third quarter.
Yes.
And we might just see Kelly Olynyk the rest of the way, where personally, I do think the whole day everyone's been talking about Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk's a great utility play, great captain play. If Myers Leonard were to start, I do think Kelly Olynyk's ownership will fall to quite a bit, I think, to compare to what everyone's been talking about the whole day. So it'll make me like Kelly Olynyk quite a bit, even more from that standpoint, just being over the field on him.
Okay. Per the news god himself, El Negro Loco, the Heat pregame broadcast has the projected starters as Hero, Robinson, Butler, Crowder, Myers Leonard. This is not official, but that is how they are listed in the pregame broadcast. I think that makes some sense. I am a little surprised. I'm not surprised that Hero is starting. I just didn't think they would do it. Clearly, it makes a bunch of sense and all. I thought that one would just simply transition to Kendrick Nunn, but alas, it did not. I don't think that matters at all for Tyler Hero, other than they're going to try to shoot for him to play 40 minutes today. I mean, that's why you move him to the starting lineup, right? To get him that extra couple minutes that he can't get from not starting.
Yeah, I mean, he was closing games all like the conference finals series, so yeah. It's very like I was projecting similar minutes. Maybe he gets an extra couple minutes off of Kendrick Nunn now, who his ownership will probably fall drastically quite a bit. But I still think Kendrick Nunn will get rotational run. Otherwise, they're going to run these starters out for. I mean, I do expect all starters besides Leonard and Crowder to get low 40s. Maybe not. It's not. That's not right. Duncan Robinson's in the starting lineup and he can pick up foul trouble. I think you can project Hero and Butler for 40 minutes around that point, and then Iguodala and Kelly Olynyk and Kendrick Nunn off the bench. I don't expect Solomon Hill. Maybe he gets his 5-6 minutes of just breather run for someone if someone's exhausted or whatnot. It's going to be tough. I mean, Spoelstra is a really tough guess. I don't know what's going to really happen in that second unit. The real money is going to be made whoever can get that second unit guy who goes off potentially and would be the slate breaker because their prices are pretty favorable to jam in the studs.
Well, if anybody knows how to find the slate breaker on a NBA Finals showdown slate, it is certainly you. Or I guess we should call it a single game slate since that was on FanDuel. Although I think that everyone should just adopt the moniker showdown for a single game contest. I think it just makes more sense. It rolls off the tongue.
Showdown sounds so much better than single game contest. It's like, it sounds so much cooler. Like it's a showdown.
Miami is starting Myers Leonard and Tyler Hero in place of Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Per Shams, there it is. So, how does that information change what you're doing? Yeah, Shams breaking the Trump news.
It was wild last night at 1 a.m. I was like, oh my God, did he actually beat him? I don't know. What was he? It came down to a few seconds of difference. Props to him. Killer newsbreaker. But continue after the starting lineup. I cut you off with your question.
What does that do to you, or were you already just assuming this was the case moving forward?
I was thinking that Kendrick Nunn might get the start here, but I think Spoelstra saw what he could do on his own off the bench, can generate some scoring, play the previous Tyler Hero role now, potentially. But it does tick up my Tyler Hero projection by a little bit. He's a very interesting play because his price has gone up quite a bit now. He's priced like a stud now for a showdown single game contest. So he makes for a very interesting build. I'm now not getting, initially I didn't get much of him. I think I'm going to actively try to get a little bit more shares of him just because I think he's going to be out there as much as they're going to need his scoring. And as long as he's not a minus 34 again or whatever that awful, dreadful performance he put on the floor, I think he has a good chance of being safe for that price tag. It's going to be tough for him to break that price tag. I know if he pulls off that game with 5 performance again, obviously what he did in the conference finals, that's going to be just fine at 8,600 on DraftKings. I think he's 11,000 on FanDuel if I'm not mistaken.
He is 11,000, and wow, you should see chat. Horrible move by Spoelstra to not start Nunn. Just terrible. Spoelstra sucks. Horrible coach. People are clueless, man. Clueless. Yeah, I said it. You two are clueless.
I mean, people are so, especially in these showdown single game contests, there's so much recency bias built in, as we can clearly see it in the chat, just because Nunn got a little hot off some prevent defense by the Lakers. They were just obviously just getting some cardio in that second half. So, I mean, I don't expect Nunn to shoot that efficient again in the series. Maybe in blowout run if it happens again, that can definitely happen. But it makes the most sense for Spoelstra. He's trusted Hero in high pressure moments throughout the playoff run. He's a key reason why they're here. It makes sense for Spo to start Hero, in my opinion.
Why did he start all season? Because the regular season doesn't matter as much?
I think Dragic was hurt early on.
He was to start, and then they just left Nunn in that spot. He was playing well, and Dragic has had some injury concerns in the past. It allows you to manage his minutes a little bit differently. When the games turned into nut crunching time, you saw what they did. They immediately put in what they believed was their starting point guard.
Yeah, speaking of like the lineup change, we just got a update from Alex behind the scenes here. So make sure to check that out. Our projections are free. If you check our at Awesemo NBA Twitter account, it's the pinned tweet over there. Make sure to give that a follow. And check out our giveaway we're having. We're giving away an NBA year pass, worth $400 on the main handle, Awesemo_com tweet. So make sure to check that out. Give those accounts a follow. We'll greatly appreciate it. And take a look at the new projections Alex has rolled out.
Alex projecting Myers Leonard 18 minutes, Kelly Olynyk 26. I will have less minutes projected to Myers Leonard, and it will ultimately not matter all that much for me, at least on DraftKings, because he is $1,000. Have to assume that 18 minutes of Myers Leonard at $1,000 is going to put him in a very healthy amount of lineups, however.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's $1,000. He essentially lets you do anything else you want with your lineup.
Yep.
And it's the floor on DraftKings Showdown. He's 6,000 on FanDuel, I believe, or is he 6,500?
He's 6K. He and Derek Jones are both the flat 6.
Yeah. So, obviously, $1,000 makes you do everything else. He's going to be quite popular now, I want to say. I don't know how high his ownership gets. Do you think it'll surpass Kelly Olynyk with that price difference? And the moment where we got the news 30 minutes to go, he's starting. People are now willing to save those. I think it's $2,000, which is a significant amount on DraftKings to move around your salary.
I think it's going to end up being really close now on DK just because 1,000 is so low. I think he probably ends up over-owned on DraftKings, although I just don't know if there's going to be enough time to get to it. We're also being told that Spoelstra is going to get fired after they get swept. Eric Spoelstra might have the best job security in the league, but neither here nor there.
I think he is a under-the-table lifetime contract over there, so yep. I think he's just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. They didn't fire him when LeBron wanted him gone.
Yeah. Pat Riley was like, now he's going to be our coach, so.
Yep. Yeah, I think I still prefer Olynyk, and I'm hoping that the ownership pinches itself and brings Kelly down now.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, Kelly Olynyk is one of those players. He's a streaky player. Plays in the perimeter, can knock down quite a bit of threes. It was impressive. He only hit one field goal last time out and got 19 fantasy points. He's going to need to make a lot more than one field goal this time around to get 19 fantasy points, in my opinion. But if he gets around like the 18, 19 fantasy point range again, potentially, it's definitely in the wheelhouse. And he might get some potential blowout run at 3K. It makes for a fine play, in my opinion. And he has upside for much higher as well. He's a solid back-end bench player now, I'd say.
You know what else has upside for something much higher?
Now let's hear it.
That would be our like total. 1,200 people in here, 130 likes. Unacceptable on a Friday. We're celebrating this lovely Friday. We're celebrating Ryan's win from Wednesday. Hit that thumbs up. It helps us out a ton. Let's get that number north of 200 immediately. Lakers starting lineup is out. We know what it is. It's the typical starting lineup for the Lakers. Dwight Howard still starting. Surprise, surprise. LeBron James starting lineup today. Didn't expect old LBJ to get out there, but here he is. Kidding, everybody. Kidding. If you want to play at No House Advantage today, I think that would be a pretty good idea for you. As of right now, we have 80% full, $2,000 contest, 1K up top. So you still have 45 spots to get in. Let's take a look at a couple props, and let's start with LeBron James. LeBron James prop for points, 28.5. I guess the real question is, do you think LeBron scores 30 in a spot without Bam Adebayo?
The problem is he's not going to need 30 in a spot without Bam. It's just they're so. I think if you were to get 20 and like if Davis were to get 27 or 25, I think that could be fine. I think 28 is the line you said, right? 28?
28.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under there just because I think LeBron's in the mood. I think he really wanted that triple-double last time out, and he got subbed right beforehand. And I think he's gunning for these triple-doubles. He's gunning for that triple-double average, I think, in the finals. And obviously gunning for another finals MVP, in my opinion. I don't think I'll take the under there. It might be bold, but it's a good line. I mean, it's LeBron James. He could score 20 in the first half against this woeful Miami Heat team now.
So I need to point this out to everybody. Bam Adebayo is listed in this contest on No House Advantage. He's not playing today. That doesn't mean you take his props and take the under. They will not count. You will not get points for it. So don't think you're being sly by taking Bam and being like, well, I guess he's going to have less than 15.5 points today. That's my number one prop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't play Bam. He's not in the game. You will not get points for it. Need to get that out there for everybody. If you're picking between LeBron James and Anthony Davis today, who do you prefer and why?
I'm going to sound like a broken record again. I'm going to go with Anthony Davis once again, just because the matchup suits him exceptionally well. Now there's no Bam, and now he has to go against what Jalen Rose calls Myers Leonard, the 7-foot Justin Bieber. And Anthony Davis is going to eat. People really underestimate how good he is, and he's been amazing this playoffs. Been by far arguably the best defender in the whole playoffs. There's nothing really Anthony Davis does really bad besides look gimpy. He looks gimpy quite a bit, and he does it really well. But Anthony Davis should eat against Bam.
I am on the same page as you. I am more AD than LeBron. Not like I don't have a lot of LeBron on FanDuel. LeBron is in every lineup I have, as is Anthony Davis. On DraftKings, same exact story. They're both in everything. For them to not be in I'd be very, very surprised if both of them are in a non-winning lineup. I mean, it obviously can happen. There's injuries, whatever. I just have a really hard time. I mean, I have LeBron and AD 13 plus points ahead of just Jimmy Butler as the third highest scorer. They're just on a different tier. It's just not close. On FanDuel in particular, other than an injury, I don't think it's possible for LeBron or AD to not be in the winning lineup.
Yeah, I expect them to be more likely than not in those top three spots, if not the top two. It's just it's a red carpet for them to get a ring, and now it's so much easier. How important Bam and Dragic are to this team is they'll see it. It wouldn't shock me if this might be the worst beatdown in NBA Finals history today. It could get that ugly that fast. It was close last time. Was it the highest we got to 33 or something? It was pretty bad.
I mean, it was not good, and they were half healthy at the very least. Gonna be just a really sad letdown to this series. So I've got to ask you another question now. We touched on AD and LeBron. We kind of went through the center rotation. Who's the sneak play of the day? Who's the guy that you're getting to more so than the field? Somebody that the field isn't getting to a lot that you think they're wrong about?
That they're going to be wrong about? I'm willing to take a shot.
Too light on?
Just because I saw what Dwight Howard's minutes looked like last time, I'm willing to make sure to be over the field on Markieff Morris this time around.
I like it.
Just because everyone expected Dwight Howard to get those similar minutes against Denver. He only played 15 minutes, and let's say there wasn't a blowout run, he maybe plays low 20 minutes. He doesn't get the 35 minutes like he did in Game 5. So I'm going to like Markieff. I like his price tag, 3,200. He makes for a fine Kelly Olynyk pivot. So he's someone who I'm trying to make sure to get a little bit more of than I usually would.
Kudos to YouTube chat. I got that like number up to 267. I can't be too mad there. Now you just want me to get to 300, but I won't push too hard for it. I'm trying to figure out a path in this. I feel like the mid tier of this slate, from I don't know, Crowder, Rondo, Duncan Robinson, KCP, Nunn, Kuzma, Danny Green, Caruso, Howard, even Iggy to a lesser extent. I feel like it's really difficult to separate those guys. And in a way, the public ownership is saying the same thing. They're basically all between 10 to 30% owned, pretty well packed around that 20% mark. I don't know, and I don't even really feel like anybody stands out. I think I like Danny Green the most of all of that sort of mid-tier, but other than I think KCP is wildly too expensive on DraftKings. At the same time, he's still more than a little in play. Is there anybody you just don't like today?
So KCP's up to 5,200, right? He's $200 more than Kendrick Nunn on DraftKings. I have them now projected kind of similarly. So it's tough. I think I'm like KCP was obviously one, but some guy who I absolutely don't like today is probably Duncan Robinson, 5,800. The way they defend Duncan Robinson, they even did this in the regular season. They kind of weirdly lock him down in the sense where they don't let him get free. The Lakers defense makes sure he doesn't get free and doesn't get a good look at all. He didn't get a single good look last time. He only put up 4.8 fantasy points. At 5,800, yes, Duncan Robinson has shown the upside. Yes, I think in terms of recency bias, you can definitely get there. But I think what we saw in game one is more likely to continue to happen, in my opinion. What's your Robinson take?
I have a relatively minimal amount. I don't have much at all on DraftKings, well under the field. On FanDuel, I have a little bit more in the utility spot, just because I already have LeBron and AD and everything. So it just becomes this situation where I'm just rotating through the rest of the people that play. But I'm still under the field on Duncan Robinson. So I like your take. We are on the same page. I do not have much Duncan Robinson. We've got about 20 minutes to go before lock. We're definitely going to have a lot of time to be able to take some questions. One other question that I have for you. The public ownership at captain is, obviously pretty concentrated around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. How do you feel about Jimmy Butler knowing that two starters are out? Clearly, he has the ability to take on a much bigger role offensively. He also has the unfortunate problem that the Lakers can throw everything they want at him. What do you think of Jimmy Butler tonight?
It's tough not to like Jimmy Butler because he's going to pick up, obviously, additional usage for sure. And they're going to need to really rely on him. I expect him to do quite a bit of ball handling duties to start the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, the Lakers are just going to hone in on him and make sure he's not the one to beat him, I feel like. And they're going to count on, okay, let's have Crowder and Tyler Hero, Myers Leonard beat us and Jimmy Butler, in my opinion. So, but I think he's going to play close to 40 minutes, and that's tough to ignore in the sense where I think he's my third favorite captain option, potentially.
Okay.
So the way things are shaking up right now, obviously with 20 minutes to go, some final adjustments.
By the way, we got an ownership update about a minute ago if you're looking for it.
Okay.
Which I assume you are.
Yeah. But Jimmy Butler obviously has 60-point fantasy upside. And if he's going to get 60 points, he's going to probably be the optimal captain. And but in the way the series shapes out, I don't think he outscores LeBron and AD with the value on the slate. LeBron and AD at captain with the value that we have should be able to work more times than not, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pretty happily going to those two guys. I don't have a ton of interest in Butler. I just don't think that he can do enough to keep them in it. I think it's more likely that we see a secondary person, someone like Tyler Hero, do the extra piece to really keep them in the game if they need to be kept in the game. I need to bump up Myers Leonard here. Do not have nearly enough as of right now. At least not on DraftKings. Let's see. So we are projecting Myers Leonard for 36% ownership on DraftKings. Kelly Olynyk at 40. Do you have a preference between the two?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry, I'm just taking a look.
Myers Leonard and Kelly Olynyk essentially have the same ownership on DraftKings. How does that make you feel?
I'll probably prefer Kelly Olynyk just because I strongly believe Kelly Olynyk has a higher ceiling than Myers Leonard.
I am on the same page. I would rather have Kelly Olynyk at this point, given their ownership, because I think that when you get to the Myers Leonard lineups now, it's just going to be so highly concentrated in LeBron, AD, Jimmy Butler plus X, and I think the dupe I think we just end up with way too many dupes after that.
Yeah, if you want to win solo on like DraftKings, especially DraftKings, I feel like both more times than not, there's obviously a train of ties. You gotta like be willing to be really uncomfortable in your lineup building more times than not. Like FanDuel, it's really hard to force that lineup to be uncomfortable the way it's set up.
Right.
DraftKings, you can definitely get uncomfortable and be like, okay, there's scenarios where if you draw a weird script that the Lakers blow them out so bad that you leave like $5,000-$6,000 on the table, could happen. So that's one way to look at things for sure. One guy that we haven't mentioned is Kyle Kuzma, who has probably the most fun narrative in the finals, in my opinion. So I thought I do think we have a Kyle Kuzma game due in the finals, just because Mrs. Tyler Hero is sitting on the sidelines and knows Kyle Kuzma fairly well, and I've seen Kuzma looked that way in that first game quite a bit. So
I have no idea what you're talking about, by the way.
Oh, you have no. Kyle Kuzma's ex-girlfriend is Tyler Hero's current girlfriend.
Okay, sorry. I guess I need to catch that on side action.
Yeah, it happened during the quarantine, but okay. That's one of the narratives. I think Kuzma has a big game due in this series at some point, and it could potentially happen in blowout runs. So.
We just got a super chat, so I want to touch on that coming in from No Fear. So thank you very much, No Fear. How do you feel about Hero at captain, then throwing all the stars in on DK with Leonard and a cheapie? Let's talk it through. So let's start at the top piece of it. How do you feel about Tyler Hero at captain?
I like it, but I think it's going to be over-owned, and it's not as optimal as as other plays. It's my final take on that.
So it's definitely a lineup that won't get duped a lot, just because, if Tyler Hero really is only 4% in the captain spot, like there's a limited amount of like it can never be as chalky as lineups that have like LeBron and AD in the captain spot. So in a way that is helpful. But if you're going to Hero and then going to Myers Leonard, that's when the construction starts to get really repetitive, because you're absolutely then going to LeBron and AD because you went to Myers Leonard. So I like it, but I don't get the sense, like from a probability standpoint, it's there. I think that I would prefer to have a different captain and still get to Hero a little bit. Like I like Hero tonight at his current ownership, because I think it's a little bit. I don't think that Jimmy Butler should be twice as owned as Tyler Hero. I think it should be close, but not necessarily that much. And I think it's a little excessive. I appreciate the super chat, though. No Fear. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you for the super chat.
1,350 people in here. Man, that's a pretty good showing for a Friday.
Finals.
Hit that thumbs up now. 400 on the table. 400 likes. Let's get there.
With that increase in likes, viewership, we'd love the increase in likes for sure. Some guy who I'm looking at, all the Heat players and DraftKings, their price has gone up. Jay Crowder, 7,400. He's just such a tough matchup, but he's one of those guys. He's streaky, knock down maybe 5 or 6 threes, find a way potentially in the captain spot. If you have multiple shares of multiple lineups, I like taking a few shots with Jay Crowder potentially, but it's tough. What's your final Crowder take with about 13 minutes left to lock?
Yeah, I'm neutral to the field on DraftKings. I have quite a bit on FanDuel, actually. 9,500 for Crowder there. Only 25% projected ownership. I'm actually bringing in 40. So I am a little bit over the field on Jay Crowder as of right now. LeBron and AD in every lineup that I have. Tyler Hero, my third most owned player on FanDuel. Olynyk 4, Jay Crowder 5. So that should give me a pretty unique set of exposures, because that's a lot of Kelly Olynyk and Jay Crowder and Tyler Hero, and not a lot of people have Tyler Hero and Jay Crowder today.
Yeah, that combination that's going to make your lineup unique, and being unique on a contest when you want to take it down alone is pretty important. So, I know you run quite a bit of simulations. I'm assuming with the new starting lineup, you probably didn't get one. Did you by chance get any Derrick Jones Jr. cracking the optimal?
I did. He showed up in 0.6% of the optimals at the utility spot. So, not a lot, but I mean, put it this way, a lot less than the public ownership. So that makes me significantly less interested in Derrick Jones Jr. We got another super chat actually from Kyle. Kyle's question, and I assume that he's referencing DraftKings here. Can you fade LeBron or AD, or is that just asking to lose? Like on FanDuel, if you fade them, yes, there's probably one slate out of every 100 that you play where one of those guys gets hurt and it becomes like you're at least in a position to win. It doesn't like make you win. On DraftKings, I think it's a little bit different. It's slightly easier to get away from one of those two guys. They are in everything that I am doing. If I were playing one lineup, I would have a hard time not having LeBron and AD. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, they should be the two highest scoring players on this slate. I want to say, I don't know what the exact number would be. I want to say at least with Jimmy Butler, I want to say 7 out of 10 times the way these games would go out. I would say they're more likely to be the two highest scoring players. I do think one way to get unique was I do think people saw that Anthony Davis was the winning captain on DraftKings. LeBron James, I think, would have been the winning captain if he picked up that assist and got the triple-double bonus. And the guy who won solo probably was like, thank the Lord, there was no triple-double bonus there for him. But I think one way to get unique is playing more LeBron at captain than AD today. But the way AD's salary is, it just makes everything work a lot more easier.
I'm trying to see if I can quickly pull up how often AD and LeBron were the top scorers. So if this is greater than, who the hell are we looking for? Jimmy Butler. And where's AD? And AD is greater than Jimmy Butler. So in my Sims, 70% of the, I think that's exactly what you said. 70% of the time, LeBron and AD were both outscored Jimmy Butler. I'm sure there's like one or two times where somebody else popped up into that list, but 70% of the time, AD and LeBron were higher scorers than Jimmy Butler individually. Good call. I'm almost positive you said 70% before, and if not, take the credit.
I'll take the credit. I did say 70%. So
perfect. 9 minutes to go until lock. 1,300 people in here, 387 likes. Let's just get it to 400. I won't ask again. I appreciate you guys. Let's start taking some questions. YouTube chat. Hit that thumbs up and then ask a question. Premium Slack, if you there, ask a question. Dave, don't ever post where'd it go? Smirnoff Ice Smash again in chat, or you're not allowed to have a sub at Awesemo.
Unreal. All right, let's hear some questions. Hit the like button for us. We're about 9 minutes away from the lock. So if there's some weird news, I'm sure someone will notify us because I mean, we were already dealing with the starting lineup change in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. So.
Aaron asking me the question, Josh, it looks like you are generally fading Butler. You afraid he goes out with that tweaked ankle? Now, it's sort of just the problem of having LeBron James and Anthony Davis in everything. Jimmy Butler starts getting pinched, so I'm kind of going to everyone around that, hence some bigger Tyler Hero ownership. But yeah, I'm pretty light on Bam tonight.
I hope you're pretty light on Bam just because he's not playing. I know you meant to say.
Oh, yeah, I meant Butler. Good call. Yeah. But yes, I'm very light on Bam Adebayo tonight. I definitely have 0%. Let's see. What do we have? Boob asks, Haslam minutes. I got that question prior to starting the show from Ryan, and I said that the only time I think that Udonis Haslam plays is potentially Game 4. When, I don't know, I'd say when his career ends, but I thought this guy was going to retire for like 7 years, so who knows?
Yeah, I was telling Josh in response, this guy's been on a farewell bench tour for the last half decade. So I mean, obviously he took a huge pay cut in those LeBron years. I feel like Pat Riley owed him some, so that's
he
why
can
he's
do
still
whatever
around.
he wants in Miami for the rest of his life. They love him.
Yeah.
I assume he'll be in some part of the front office or something for the rest of time.
Yeah, I'm sure his number is going to be retired and whatnot. So.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we've got coming in. Rondo and Iguodala or Nunn and Kuzma. I'm going to assume DraftKings.
So, Rondo or Iguodala or Nunn or Kuzma. Man, I do think they're very close for me, but I think I'm going to go the Rondo Iguodala side. It's so close. I'd flip a coin. I do think if you're going to project a Lakers blowout, I prefer the Nunn Kuzma side. But if you think the game stays close, prefer the Rondo Iguodala side.
Yeah, I also prefer the Rondo Iggy side. It's close, but that is my answer. Shout out to Legalize for the question: Kelly Olynyk or Iguodala?
And it's a huge ownership difference now, right?
Yeah. 40% to Kelly Olynyk on DK, 22 to Andre Iguodala. So close to double.
Tough. Depends how big your risk tolerance is. If you're building one lineup and you're trying to win it all, I'm okay playing Iguodala with Olynyk. But if you're looking to maybe you're content with potentially like a min cash, just because I think Olynyk is still going to be quite a bit owned, even though he's not starting. It's just not going to be as high as it once was this morning. But I'm going to still project Olynyk for a little bit more, just because it's close, though. It really depends on your risk tolerance there, I would say.
Nick had a question. Would you put someone like Crowder or Hero in the pro spot on FanDuel tonight? I have Tyler Hero in 30% of my pro spot, so he is my most exposed pro spot player for tonight. So yes, I would.
Yeah, pro spot for me, it was majority Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Just because I think that happens more times than not. I think Hero's a fine option in the pro spot. I don't think I had a lineup with 3 Lakers as MVP, star, and pro, just because I don't think that can happen. I don't think any of their bench players or secondary players are good enough to surpass any of those Miami players today.
Let's see what else we've got coming in here. Howard lose minutes or stay the same with Leonard in? I think what we saw in game 1 is going to be pretty similar for Dwight Howard. He's going to play the beginning of the first, beginning of the third. If he has to play other times, I think they're okay with it. But I think that Dwight Howard is basically just taking the previous JaVale McGee rotations.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the thing what happened last time, why the Lakers started off so slow. They found a way to get Howard on an island, and they just attacked him.
Yeah.
Now, with no Bam and no Dragic, it's going to be much harder for the Heat to do that more effectively. And there's potential where Howard's going to get a few more minutes if the game stays closer and Howard is energetic and gets going from the get-go. Vogel puts him out there, but that's about it. I mean, I do think his minutes are going to be around the high teens, mid-teens mark today.
I'd feel nervous about not having him, but I don't think that today is that kind of slate. Does Howard play more if there's a blowout, though? I don't think so at all. I think they'd go to JaVale or not care at all who's out there, honestly.
Yeah,
Jared
that's
Dudley.
So true. Do you have a preference of Solomon Hill or Derrick Jones Jr.? I saw that question. I'd be more willing to save the $1,200 or $1,600 and go down to Leonard probably.
Yeah, I would go to Derrick Jones Jr. over Solomon Hill, because I think that if they're losing by 30, like Derrick Jones Jr. could play the whole fourth. He's the type of guy that they would want to give those minutes to, but ultimately, I am not very confident in either one of those gentlemen.
Yeah, at the end, I mean, looking at my final crunch with 3 minutes to go, I'm going to be pretty low on the Olynyk captain ownership just because I think I'm more comfortable paying up to get Butler and captain LeBron and Anthony Davis. I know Olynyk was a very popular captain play until about an hour ago, so we'll see how much he comes in at.
Yeah, this morning
And like
we had his ownership at 7% in the captain spot. I said he was my favorite captain play of the day. That changed a little bit as the ownership, well, as he didn't start, and then as the ownership went up, and then actually came back down. I mentioned it on the show this morning. The times where Kelly Olynyk was in the captain spot, he averaged in my sims, I believe it was 36 fantasy points before the multiplier. So like your standard 36 DraftKings points. So you're shooting for 30 plus from Olynyk if you want him to be in the captain spot on DraftKings. If you don't get
thank
the 30,
you so
probably
much.
Won't be.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're up to 435 likes. Wow. I mean, that's phenomenal for a Friday night at 8 o'clock. Amazing. Thank you so much to the YouTube chat. Make sure to give us a follow on our Twitter handles as well. And check out, if you're having some last minute adjustments, check out our pre-projections on the site. The NBA projections, Alex just updated them about when the lineups changed, the starting lineup changed for Miami. So make sure to check that out. But
we have one last question to get to. You ready? Mm-hmm. Which site do you win $100,000 on tonight? FanDuel or DraftKings?
Talking to me?
Yeah. Well, you're.
Well, because it's not the same contest. I would have to tie. I think it's 200 up top.
Okay.
On both sides today, so I'm gonna have to even the pie out. I'm gonna take my chances on DraftKings today. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Right
there we go. You can take down one dupe bink of DK, grab another 100K, and then pick up $1,000 by binking the No House Advantage contest for tonight. How's that work?
Yeah, definitely check out our sponsor. Use our promo code.
Yeah.
Take advantage of contests not filling up. I mean, for the longest time, that's how I kind of maintained a steady bankroll, as I found a way to play higher contests with higher rake. And like, there is an edge when there's new sites that appear. So Super Chat cost us that captain. I mean, shout out to the first Antetokounmpo brother to win a ring, not named Giannis.
Wait till Alex gets there, and I don't know when he gets drafted, 2 years from now, maybe.
They have another really young brother who's pretty solid, right?
Yeah, Alex Antetokounmpo. So they have Thanasis is the dude on the Lakers.
Thanasis is only in the league because Giannis is
right. And then star. Who's the other one?
They do have Costas is
Costas, Thanasis, and then Alex is the fourth one, the youngest one.
Yeah.
Guys, that will do it. It is lock time. Your lineups are in. We are going to go watch some basketball. So please enjoy game 2. Hit the thumbs up on your way out the door. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Just subscribe to the podcast feeds. We have podcasts for everything. Tune in to everything that we do tomorrow and Sunday. Loaded for content on Saturday, loaded for NFL content early Sunday, live before lock NBA edition Sunday night. You can't beat it. Thank you guys. Good luck. Have a good weekend. We're out.